This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back on to the Morning Majlis. So we are going to be talking about the success stories and how you can be motivated should you be wishing to pursue your education goals. With us in the studios, we have Youssef Ghobreyal, who is a UAE resident of Egyptian origin, 18 years of age, and not only has he won a scholarship, he's an 18 years of age person who is not nervous to be in the studio because he's a speaker. He does TED Talks. He is also apparently owns two businesses as well on the side. Now, if you were one of those students who did nothing on the age of 18, then you must be feeling a bit ashamed, like us. Like us. Good old people who now get paid to talk, which is fine. But before he pursues his career, he's a speaker. Very good morning to you, Youssef Ghobreyal.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, we're very excited and looking forward to this discussion. Now, talk to us about yourself and, where you grew up and how did you apply for this scholarship?
So I grew up mostly in Dubai. I came here at the age of 3, actually, and I used to do swimming from the age of 6 until I tore my MCL, which was in 2018, and that was the end of my career. And I took it to nationals. I had swimming records, and I broke national records, but due to that injury, I couldn't swim again, and that made me bounce back to find my passion for business, entrepreneurship, and speaking in public.
So why get into this when you could have been a normal 18-year-old playing, whatever they play these days, Call of Duty, or even, some games online, and then get into university and then think about it? Because a lot of people, students, especially when I was growing up as well, were always thinking, I'll figure it out. I'll go with the flow.
Yeah.
But you had it all planned out and were chasing dreams.
I didn't really have it all planned out. Okay. I just knew I wanted to do something different. I always had the element of me wanting to do something beyond and see how far my capabilities are. And my mother honestly helped me the most with this and tells me, you're different. From a young age, I always wanted to be first or number one. So that really helped me to allow me to open a business and get the scholarship, really.
Yeah, and talk to us some more about that. It's pretty interesting. At your age, you're starting a business. Talk to us about some of the challenges involved here. How do you even go about it? Talk to us some more about that aspect, yeah.
All right, so last year when COVID struck, me and 2 other people, Aman and Fahad, we started first we started a health company. It's called Sahi. It's one which finds balance in terms of diet rather than going on extreme diets which don't work and bounce back to the same weight. It's about fixing that lifestyle and moving forward. And we started that during the pandemic, and currently we're in talks with GEMS Network to see if we can get some sort of partnership with them. And then I wanted to start something more creative, more fun, and hence I started a clothing line called Unwritten Lines, about uncertainty and how the future holds nothing certain, like the pandemic we're in.
And talk to us about mentors as well. I mean, who's helping you through your business journey?
All right. For my business journey, we had someone named, for the education part, I had Peter. He helped me a lot with it from Hale Education Group. Peter and David, they're my counselors who helped me get the scholarship, as well as push my business further. But one of my main mentors were my father in terms of business, as he's been exposed to the industry a lot, and someone called Richard Fisher from Bloomberg.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay. Now, talk to me about what you want to do in Boston University. What have you signed up for, and why are you doing that?
At Boston, I signed up for entrepreneurship, innovation, and future technology.
Okay.
And I just want to study technology as well as computer science and see how we can use exponential increasing technology to move forward with the future.
And how did this what did you have? What was the reason for getting or applying for the Trustee Scholarship? Was this something recommended, or did you feel that this is needed, for example?
Honestly, the deadline was December 1st, and I was sitting with my counselor, Peter and David, and we were just thinking, is it worth it for me to apply to a scholarship where it has 0.03% acceptance rate? And I was just thinking, is it worth me sitting down for 2 days to write a 600-word essay? And I said, what will I lose if I just go and try it one time? And I just tried it, and I was opening my acceptance letter in the Smash Room in Dubai with my friends,
Yeah, I know about that.
and I couldn't believe it. And that's the story. We just wrote the essay. We said, let's try it out, and it worked. No one had expectations of anything.
Yeah, take us through that process of applying for such a scholarship.
So we had to write an essay, and you had a choice of 2 essays. One about community service mainly, or one about how you want to change the future through exponential technology. I chose the one about community service because where I come from, Egypt, in a city called Fayoum, 90% of the people are really, really poor and in poverty. So
Right.
I talked about how I helped in community service, and that's what got me the scholarship, I think.
And
Wow, that's
what have you
incredible.
done in that community service?
So in that community service, me and a bunch of my friends, we decided to start a fraternity called Al Ikhwat, which means brothers and sisters. And it wasn't just about donating. We wanted to give identity to those nameless people that no one knows about down on the street. So we started activities, buying a ball, just creating some games, nothing special. But it's that creating happiness in terms of these people's lives that really had an impact rather than just giving money, because everyone else does that.
You're such a motivated person and goal-oriented person. So this will bring me to the next question. What are your future goals, Youssef?
My future goals is, one of my future goals is to help my family, not just my mom, my extended family, as loads of them suffer from chronic heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. And that was the reason behind my first company, was to help them. And that's my first priority so far.
Yeah, and Youssef, can you give advice to the listeners on how to adopt that mindset, go after your goals and be motivated? You've talked about some of the encouraging words from your mother, from your mentors, but what would you tell people to go out and seek their goals and make meaningful change?
The first thing I'll tell people, especially my age, don't let anyone else tell you what you can or can't do. Because at this age, you have more expertise than anyone else older than you. You have more direct access to the social media and the different trends. So you should be going out there and taking those risks, because at the end of the day, Elon Musk even said he would rather throw some money and be poor and live on the streets than know that he never tried.
And you're going to be hitting the talk circuit as well. You said you're going to be doing TEDx talks. Can you talk to us some more about that?
Hopefully the TEDx goes in April, but we're not sure because of COVID. We still want an audience there. So I'm going to be doing a TEDx speech on nuclear warfare and nuclear missiles.
Why that? This is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because the theme of TEDx is unlearn, relearn. And we
Okay.
saw that this year our main nemesis was never each other. It was actually a virus, if
Right.
you realized. So why spend $2 trillion just this year in the world's biggest recession, where we could have spent that on education?
Wow.
Can you talk to us some more about that, the importance of education and spending on education?
Yeah, let me explain to you how much 1 trillion is. If you count from 1 to 1 trillion, guess how many years it'll take you?
Years?
It's going to take a while, isn't it?
32,683 years.
Off.
Goodness.
People don't understand how much 1 trillion really is.
Right.
So that's the main inspiration.
Amazing.
It's building on this aspect of education, because we've been talking about this, how schools are being socially distanced, and for us it's just news, for you, you're living it, because you're not having that contact in schools, you're not having that contact in universities. Maybe in the United States as well, they might say, look, it's still going to be distance learning. So a lot of students feel do not get that university experience. So how has education been? Because growing from the school that you were here in the United Arab Emirates to now potentially going to the US, but you can't probably go to the US because they're still doing distance learning. How's that affected you, and how's the education been so far?
In the UAE, everything's close to perfect. Like everything's sorted out. Like everything's socially distanced perfectly. Your laws are really enforced and it's really strict. I'm not sure about the US because Boston University is still in debate if we're going to go back or not. But if we don't go back, I'll go through distance learning, and that gives me an advantage because I was kind of debating if I should launch the second launch of my clothing company, the second batch. So if I stay here, then that will happen.
Is it distracting, do you think, when you're thinking about if you're going to stay here, then you can focus on your business as well as the university? And given the time differences, the time zones, are you going to be able to keep that right balance and be okay with it?
It's all about time management to me. If you sleep 8 hours a day, and that's the key thing, if you get those 8 hours of sleep, you can do anything. So if university would be at like 4 a.m., I'd have the whole day to do my boxing training and my business thing. I'll have a lot more time in university and school.
Well, so much to look forward to. I mean, he's got it all planned out. It's like, no, throw any challenges at me.
I'm in awe right now. Cannot even ask a question.
He's a Renaissance man.
He is.
Well,
such a proud moment.
Well, it's great to hear from you, and talk to us about what's coming up next for you, and when do you plan on going? Because only 20 applicants could get it from thousands of applications that come through. So what's the next steps now?
So at the moment, I'm waiting for April 6th. It's when the Ivy League come out. That's the only thing that'll let me go there, if I get in, obviously. I'm waiting for Harvard, Columbia, and Cornell. And that changed everything. If not, I'll go Boston, because Boston's the top 20 for business, actually. And it would be stupid not to go for free.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the very best in your journey, and we look forward to hearing more about your research, especially when it comes to nuclear missiles and what's happening with it. So thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Well, this was Youssef Ghobreyal, who is a UAE resident, only 18 years of age, who took on the questions like nobody's business, for sure. And we'll be back again here on the Morning Majlis right after the business news headlines, so do stay tuned to Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.